morning. It's like 4:42 in the morning. I just got called on a grain train. As always, I like to start my day off with some good electrolytes. If you want to try out this brand, which is called Ventura Pal, I can put a link in the description, get you 15% off. And these are good electrolytes at a good price. I like them. You know, they did send me this product to try out, but these, I mean, there's a lot of other ones I would like as well. Insta Hydrate, this hydration is pretty good. Drink Element is probably one of my favorites, but this Venture Pal kind of is very comparable and at a very good price point. Plus, I can get you 50% off if you want it. I'll put a link in there. Anyways, I start my morning off every morning with electrolytes before I do my coffee. Just a little tip there. And I think in some of my future videos, I think I want to start including part of my health journey and how I lost 120 pounds. Still got to quit that though, either way. But why you came here, what you came here for, it's, I don't know if I mentioned, I just woke up. But anyways, it's been a busy week. That's why I hadn't recorded much. But it's like 4:42. Just got called on an empty grain train to take back home. Those usually can be a good trip. Sometimes can't be. We'll have to put the cars away when we get there and put the engines up. But either way, besides that, as long as there's no real issues, we don't get put in the side, and for every train that we pass by, it might not be too bad of a trip. But anyway, why you came here, the reason you came here is, I reckon I want to title this, you know, how to make it through conductor training. And if you're watching this video, it's probably for a few reasons. I'd say one is you're just curious. The other is you're looking to get hired at the railroad, or the other is that you have been interviewed and going through the hiring process, or you're just about to go to conductor school. So I work for CSX. I went through what's called the REDI Center. And I'd say that pretty much all class one training is pretty similar in nature. So this video could probably apply to about anybody that is curious. But either way, I'd say the first tip that I would give would be develop good study habits. And that's any kind of school. That's going to be a very good pro tip, I guess you could say. For me, I was a senior in college when I went to the REDI Center. So I'd been going to college for probably 5 years at that point, and so I'd already had some study habits that were just kind of, I didn't have to develop them. I already had them. So, but a lot of guys guys and gals that was there, you know, they had to, you know, really buckle down and make time every day. And that's really, developing good study habits just simply means you're making time to study. That's it. You know, depending on, you know, your workload is how much time that you devote to it. When it comes to conductor school, there is a lot of information that they're throwing at you. So you have to devote a lot of time because it's a lot of information in a condensed amount of time. So my assistant superintendent, he said it best. He said it's like drinking from a fire hose. Just open your mouth and get all you can. So, and that's pretty much it. But what we did, and I know what a lot of other people has done, prior to us and after us, is we formed study groups. So, we were all in the same hotel room, and so, in the afternoons we would get together. We made flashcards. You pretty much know what the questions are going to be on your test, so you're making notes of that, and so it's just how can I put it? You're learning information you absolutely know nothing about, and even leaving the Ready Center, you still have no idea about it because you haven't experienced it. You may have seen it. You may have been a rail fan. You've watched the railroad. There's still things from the inside. Looking at it from the inside, you still just don't understand. So it's a lot of just memorizing rules just so you can pass the test, so you can get the question right on the test. So it's just a lot of just, and when it comes to memorization, it's just repetitiveness. You read it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And, there were some people that couldn't get it. And that's okay. It's just, that is a difficult task. But I'd say everybody's that, with, at least a ninth grade reading level, I'd say, I'm just assuming, could pass, and me being a senior in college, I'm not the best at memorizing things. Some people could read it 2 or 3 times, they got it. It seems like their brain absorbs it. I have to do it repetitively. And I didn't go to many of the study groups. I went a few times, but there'd be a lot of side talk and then talking and studying, talking and studying. And that's distracting to me when I'm in study mode. And see, I was a senior in college, but I was also, most of my college career was, a distant student. So I learned how to study alone. I would create my own quiet time. So I did that a lot at the hotel. I would just come to the hotel and just, I decompress from class, get me something to eat. I'd call Ashley. I would go down to the hot tub and sit in the hot tub for a little while, and then I would come back up here and I would just get it in gear, and then I would just study. And then, because, it's a rule book, it's that nasty. It used to be 5 books, but they condensed it into 1. So it's just one thick book. So just like I said earlier, the toughest part is you're memorizing these rules that you don't even have an idea or a clue what they're govern. You never seen the actions that they're governing. So it's kind of difficult a little bit. But anyway, it's doable. So number 1 is study. Develop good study habits. Really, at the end of the day, what developing good study habits means is that you're just making time. You're simply being disciplined enough to dedicate the time to study. And that's secondly. The second tip would be, don't waste your time, right? When you're down there, don't be going to the bar every day with the boys. There was some guys that went more than others. There was some that went too much. The guy that went too much didn't make it. It's just real simple, and I didn't understand it. And this guy, he drove all the way from up north, like the New England area, all the way down to Atlanta, just to play around. Why did you even drive all the way down here so you could party every day? You know what I'm saying? You could have stayed at home for that, or there's a whole lot of other places in between there and Atlanta that he could have wasted his time. But either way, it just, kids being young, he was a young kid. So don't get caught up in that. Not saying that on a Saturday you want to go somewhere, have you a couple drinks, but just make sure you get that study time in. That's what's important. Don't drink at the hotel. Don't bring alcohol to the hotel. It's against the rules and get you fired before you even get hired. But either way, develop good study habits. I guess don't party too much, and the ones that I guess everything most people worry about going in is that 4-minute ladder hang, and because I was a little nervous about it because I was a little heavier then. I was pushing about 300 pounds when I went down there, but it's not really that bad. I mean, is it an arm burner a little bit? Yeah, it is, but it's. I mean, I seen people that in my class there was some people that was not in the best physical shape. Even though I was pushing 300, I still worked hard, still had some strength. You know what I mean? I was still hiking and backpacking and working out, going to the gym and stuff. So, yeah, it's. Never mind. I wasn't 300. I was about 265. I gained some weight after I got hired on the railroad and got up to 300. But either way, but we'll talk about that in later videos. So I was 265, so I wasn't in too bad a shape. But I seen women that were a little round, pass that test. Big guys, the only person, there was one person in our class that did fail, and the poor feller was just as round as he was tall. So, and they gave him multiple attempts. He failed it, and then they took him back out there by himself to see if, to coach him through it, and he still couldn't hang on. The thing is, you got your feet on some stirrups, and you're hanging on with one hand, and you're doing radio signals with another hand. But the thing is you don't hang with one hand for 4 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to switch sides, and you're going to, so I think you're switching positions about every minute. So. Really, if you can hang on for 1 minute with one hand, you can pass the ladder test, and it's really not that difficult. The other thing is the signals test. Signals test is hard, but it's not near as hard as what I've heard how it used to be. You had to write down every signal, like the indication, the definition, whatever you want to call it, word for word. We don't have to do that. So, it's on the tablet. And another pro tip for you, you get a practice test that you could take unlimited times on your tablet. So you just keep taking it and taking it and taking it and taking it until you start getting hundreds, because you do got to get 100 on that test. If you miss one, you fail, and you only get 5 attempts at the test. So that's and the thing is I wouldn't worry about the signals test until they taught the signals in class, and then I'd start focusing on it. Because there's a whole lot of other things that you really need to focus on before you get to that part of school. So if you're worried about the signals test, you probably miss a whole lot of other stuff. So I would just kind of go with the flow of class, and then when signals came up, I would start. Then I would start studying. I'd start doing that practice test and trying to get it down. So to give you a breakdown of what it looked like when I went there. When I went there, it was 5 weeks. I think now it's only 4 weeks. But the first 2 weeks were classroom. I think you had like, I think the test was on Monday, a quiz Wednesday, and quiz Friday. Or either there's a quiz Monday and a quiz Wednesday and a test Friday. Either way, it's 2 quizzes and a test, and you had to have an 85% average by the end of all the tests, and kind of what your average was when you take the final exam. It's kind of what you're left with, what you're going to have to make to pass. And you'll get a breakdown sheet of what, each quiz, how much percentage of that, of your overall grade is going to be, how much each quiz is worth, each test is worth. So, tests are always more valuable than your quizzes. So you really want to get a high score. If you can get, 95s or better on your test, and 90s and above on your quizzes, that leaves you just a little bit of wiggle room on your final exam. But by the time you get to the final exam, I mean, you've done studied these rules, you've done answered these questions. Like the final exam was just like almost like a review. I already been studying this stuff for 2 weeks. So the final exam is not that bad. So 2 weeks is basically academics, and then 2 weeks is outside, in the yard, making switching moves and learning how to talk on the radio, brake tests. I mean, it's just a run through of different types of moves. Most everybody struggles with talking on the radio, what I'm saying? Because there's a certain way that you could say, clear, lined up and riding, backing up, Jason tracks is clear, 5 cars, whatever it is, CSXT 3459, all this radio talk, which is, guys, it's a whole paragraph, it seems like, and you're leaving something out, and the instructor's like, you forgot to say this, you forgot that, and it was kind of comical. It was a little fun, but also stressful, because it's like, man, I'm gonna sound like an idiot when I finally, when I get out there trying to work. But anyhow, so that's pretty much it. 2 weeks academics, 2 weeks out in the yard, 1 day day shift, 1 week day shift, 1 week night shift. And I want to say, man, I really enjoyed the REDI Center experience. The facility was super nice. The food was really good. Like, that surprised me. So they have a menu that usually there's like either sandwiches and a chip, and they're like homemade sandwiches on like artisan bread. I mean, they served salmon. Then there'd be like a hot sandwich, like a, chicken sandwich, hamburgers, hot dogs, like just different types of chicken sandwiches. Each day was different. And then they would have like a hot, like entree meal, spaghetti or whatever, whatever they had. But the food was really good. Like, I didn't spend much money on food while I was there, because our hotel had a breakfast, which was free, and then I would eat at the REDI Center, and then all the food that was left over after everybody had ate, they just put them in these trays and stacked them up, and so you could just go grab you a couple of those and take back to the hotel with you. And so I did that every afternoon. So I literally did not spend no money on food. So, and I mean, compared to what I've heard, like a lot of the older guys, they had to pay to go to conductor school, had to pay for their own hotel. Like, so, I mean, I didn't have to pay, I wasn't out of money for a hotel. They reimbursed me for my gas or my mileage. And they fed me. I mean, it was really, really a good experience. I liked it. And got really close, you know, like with all my classmates, our group of people, you know, for the most part, everybody took it really serious. We studied together. I mean, you spend a month with somebody, you know, you're learning about them, where they're from, if they're married, if they got kids, you know, what makes them angry, you know, everybody's nervous, everybody's, you know, so that draws you closer, because it's like, well, I'm not the only one nervous. I'm not the only one feeling this way, you know. So I guess I could say it's another good thing about the REDI, you know, conductor school is, you know, you're not doing it alone. It's you and another group. Y'all doing it together. So whatever you're going to struggle with, the whole group's going to struggle with it. So yeah, it was a good experience. I really did enjoy it. You know, missed my family, but I knew that I was doing something, you know, for my family. So it made it easier. But yeah, study. Don't play around too much, and everything else will fall in place. Really, you know, and get with the group. You know, get in them study groups, study hard, and just take it serious, and you'll succeed. You know, just like anything else. And if you don't, just wasn't meant for it. You know, don't put that pressure on you. You know, that's kind of how I was. Like, if I don't make this, then this isn't my lot in life. This isn't what I was supposed to do. So I tried to take that pressure off of me. You know, just like even today, like, you know, so many people walk around with this job, with this pressure of, you know, getting in trouble or getting fired and this and that. It's like, I'm going to do the best that I can do every day. Every day, my personal ambitions is to be better than I was yesterday at everything that I put my hands to. And if it ain't good enough, that ain't the direction that ain't what I was supposed to be in life. And there's no pressure in that. Like, if they fired me today because I did my best and my best wasn't good enough, then this isn't what I'm supposed to do. You know, so always take that pressure off of you. You know, don't put that pressure on you. You know, if you're gonna put pressure on you, put pressure on yourself to just be your best every day. Put pressure on yourself to apply self-discipline in your life, in every area of your life. You know, and that's the thing. Like, if I'm lacking discipline at work, it's because I'm lacking discipline at home, right? If I'm taking shortcuts at work, that's because I already have a habit of taking shortcuts in life. So whatever you're in habit of doing, it's going to bleed into every area of your life. So if you're a person that is really good at self-discipline, that strives on growing and becoming better day by day, the railroad ain't gonna be hard. It's not. I mean, are there difficult days? Yes. Is it a lot to learn? Absolutely. But if you're that kind of person, you look at it as a challenge, and it motivates you to want to learn. You want to learn this craft, because this is a craft that you're not going to come in here in a year and be good at, period. You know what I'm saying? It takes years to be good at this thing. I'm going on my 3rd year, and I still am looked at as a rookie, because I still am. It takes thousands of hours to hone this craft. So, yes, it's a very challenging career, very rewarding when you get better. You know what I mean? So, and if you're the kind of person that loves to take those challenges on, railroad will be a good career for you. If you're the type of person that those challenges stumble you up, frustrate you, make you angry, you could probably do the job, but you're going to be miserable. So either way, that's my 2 cents. Appreciate you guys. Those of you that subscribe, I appreciate you. I got some more video ideas. I actually was jotting some of them down the other day. So I got a whole list of video ideas that I'll be putting out in the next couple months, so be looking out for that. And until next time, see you guys.